So thanks for joining us. I know that the comment section of the live stream has already been blowing up from you guys talking about various things. And I'm glad to be joined tonight by both my co-hosts. We've got Eric and Rodney. Rodney's back with us tonight. Before we get into my loose topic for tonight, let's see what Eric and Rodney have been up to this last week. It has been a full week, guys. So what have you been up to?
Yeah, I guess I'll jump in there first. Man, I've been doing a bunch of clips, dropping those in. So some of you guys are like, wait, haven't we already covered this topic? Thanks, Jim. And yeah, we basically I just said we've got hours and hours of content. So I'm going to start breaking them into small chunks, feeding them out throughout the week. It won't be quite the barrage that it was today. And so it won't probably be like that. But there are a lot of people who don't have time to sit through a full hour. So I'm just kind of pulling the best of the best of what we do and just get it out there in 3 to 5, maybe 8-minute segments and just put it out there. So I know there are a few other podcasts that I've seen that do that. I really enjoy it. So I figured we'd just try it out. So outside of that, man, it's just been hot. And I've been working with some other projects around the house and sports with the kids and all the fun stuff. So back to school. Rodney, how about you?
I've been working at work. I think I worked about 5 days of overtime in the last probably like week and a half or something like that. And then working around the house, taking apart bunk beds. I built a couple of new sets of bunk beds, moved around some furniture.
Get more kids?
We moved some of the kids around. You know, we had some of the little girls in one room, not in a room with some of the middle-aged girls, and the older girls are now in their own room. So we had to like move a bunch of stuff. So, oh man, I hate furniture. I hate moving stuff. Oh, but that's what I've been up to. Just normal stuff, I guess. Work.
Okay.
People are saying our audio, or at least mine's all messed up. So
yeah,
bummer.
Eric,
Sorry.
you sounded like a Cylon. Apparently, let's see here. I'm just
That's
jumping
what I
over
see.
to the live stream just to see.
Bam! I sound good. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Rodney. He's got that fiber.
Yeah, Eric and I are on Starlink, so we're working off of that. You guys missed all the problems that I was having before we started tonight.
Still looking a little glitchy right now on my end.
Yeah, it's because I'm trying to do too many things at once. I got to stop.
Oh man, yeah. There's something about the moment the stream starts, my audio and video just fall apart. We need to just have Rodney start the stream and not allow any of us to talk for about, I don't know, a minute or two, and just let our whatever gremlins work themselves out. So
Yep.
it's weird.
Well, yeah, we surprisingly had quite a video from last week. If you guys have gone back and seen, seems to be a lot of attention on just how EG4 has kind of responded to, at least on our stream. I mean, when we ask questions about the whole inverter being banned topic, if you missed it, I think I could probably get Eric or Rodney to drop that into the live chat so that you guys can go back and look at that after you get done here, because we're going to have some fun tonight and you're not going to want to miss out. So the topic tonight has kind of come about from me doing things a little backwards. And when I say that, it means that I ended up buying like 24 optimizers for my coop project, which I did that a couple of years ago, put solar panels on the coop. And, you know, from the simple DIY standpoint, everybody always talks about how optimizers are the way to combat shading, right? Because they do a lot of these things behind the scenes to help deal with the shade covering the panels. And so tonight I want to kind of look at what the, what's the word I'm looking for? What the ideas of optimizers are supposed to be doing. And then I'm going to actually ask Eric, and Rodney, and then you guys in the chat as well about your experiences with them, because I know Rodney has them at his folks. I believe Eric set them up on Mitch's house. So I'm going to kind of ask these guys some questions about how have they lived up to kind of the hype that you hear about. So let's see here. We're going to jump on over here to my slides, and I want to thank Eric for helping me fix my slides, because I had some decent ones and I couldn't get them in the format that I wanted, and so he took it and fixed all of them, because otherwise y'all would have some nasty, ugly slides. So solar panels and optimizers in dealing with shading. So shading, unfortunately for a lot of us, is inevitable. Where we live, there's something in the way of our full, beautiful, unadulterated production from the sun. And usually it's like a tree or a chimney, or, I mean, it could be any number of things. And in the past, you really had three options. One was, don't put your panels in anywhere where there's shading. Makes sense. Second option was, pull out that chainsaw, rev it up, and cut that puppy down so that it's not blocking your solar panels.
Unless your government says you can't. That's what the guy said last week.
Cutting down trees?
Remember he said he can't cut down his trees.
Oh, where he lives? Yeah.
Where he lives.
Yeah, I
Not
guess
allowed.
that's true. The wind blew it down.
Yep.
Don't mind that big V cut in the bottom.
That's when you go get a beaver. Hey, man, that's nature. What am I supposed to do? Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then the third thing is, really, you end up sucking it up and just dealing with it. You know that at certain times of the day, you're just going to have the sun behind the trees, and you're going to be losing out on some production. I mean, so really, that's what you could, you're stuck with it.
Yep.
So this picture in here is actually a picture of my coop with some solar panels on, and you can see at the time of day that I took this picture, you just see all the shading across the top of that array. There are 12 panels in total, all in series. I've got 24 total, one array facing one direction on one side of the roof, and then another 12 on the other side. And obviously you can see the shading, and it's going to be affecting my production coming off of that. And the common notion is, when you've got even one panel shaded, you're going to be affecting the production of the entire string. And so looking at these optimizers, they're not new. They've been out for a while. You've got Tigo, I think is it Solar Ever or Solar Edge has them, and I think there's one other big player that has optimizers, and I mean, they're small devices that you basically connect to your solar panel, and you run these in line with your in between each panel. You can get some that have connections for multiple solar panels, some have just one, but they clip onto your panel, and you just run your solar wires into those, and then you daisy chain the optimizers together. And they're supposed to help with, you've got here partial shading, string mismatches, so you've got different size panels. If you add in their, what is it, TAP and CCA, I don't know what they stand for. I have them sitting next to me, but I don't know what they stand for. They're supposed to help with monitoring and with rapid shutdown if you're installing on a, what, I think you only need those on roofs, the rapid shutdown.
Probably. Depends on where you live.
Yeah. And so, as I mentioned a minute ago, you can see here, you connect your panel to the optimizer, and then from the optimizer you get the output, and it's going to manage your voltage and all that kind of stuff so that you can get the best potential output for each panel. And again, this is how these are all supposed to work. And so with the Tigo one specifically, they've got 4 different, they call them deployment modes. You can put one on every single panel. You can put only on the panels dealing with shading. You can intermix. They've got multiple styles of fire suppression only, so the rapid shutdown only, and not optimized. So you can cherry pick where you need them, or you can run the optimizers without a TAP or CCA. And they say that it's not recommended to do that. It does work, but it doesn't. They're not recommending it.
And you lose a lot of the warranty time when you do it that way as well.
Yeah, you go from a 25-year warranty down to a 5-year warranty.
Yeah.
And I don't really know why. Unless the TAP and the CCA is supposed to also help with communication between the modules themselves. I don't know. But that's
probably because
they
they just want you to buy the extra equipment will be my guess, but
probably.
But I have I mean, depending on what time in this you want me to show it, I got my parents' Tigo stuff pulled up, and I can give a perfect example of the strings pulling in different wattages at the same time. If you want to, I can show that whenever. So
yep,
just let me know.
I was actually hoping that you were going to bring that up, and I'll have you bring that up here in just a minute. So you can do with the Tigo monitoring ones, you can do just optimization, or you can do the monitoring, which is what we just looked at a minute ago. And where does it make sense? Well, I'm really hoping that my use case is going to be a perfect one because of all that shading that you see that I have from the trees, hills, chimneys, nearby buildings, a lot of things that if you're like a lot of us, we have limited real estate, so we kind of have to put solar panels wherever we can get it. And a lot of times that means that we're going to be dealing with some shading. We're not all as fortunate as Rodney is to have a giant open field behind his house with nothing in the way. Most of y'all are probably like Eric and me with trees all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to Eric, to Rodney, to everybody in the chat here, have you ever used optimizers on your panels? Did they actually help with shading in your setup? Did you put them on every panel or just one? And share with me any gotchas that you figured out along the way. Now, granted, I should have probably done this before I bought the stuff. But we're already past that point.
Yeah, so I don't have a ton of experience with these things. I mean, I've installed them. I've installed the TAP. What's that? The Tigo access point. I think that's what that one stands for. And the other one I don't remember what the acronym was. And they go on super simple. They're easy to install. They're expensive ish, depending on what, I mean, it's all relative, but one of the reasons I don't have them here is on my property is because the cost of the optimizer is 3 times what I paid per panel. So it's like, I'd be better off just going and buying more expensive panels. But I don't have a lot of experience. Actually, I have 0 experience monitoring them. So this is where Rodney's going to be able to come in and say, yeah, this is what I've actually seen happen. The main reason we threw him up on Mitch's house was, number one, we weren't sure exactly where we were going to put the arrays when he purchased the equipment. And then the other thing was he definitely wanted the rapid shutdown. So that was the primary reason. And while we're doing that, might as well get the monitoring and the other features that come along with the upgraded systems.
Yeah, so I didn't like calculate everything, and I haven't went and looked. But this is just one example. I'll pull this up. Let's
Here,
see here.
I'll switch it, Rodney.
Spotlight. Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Maybe I can see it now. So as you can see, just this one example in time here. What date is this? This is today, I think. Yeah, this is today. So today at 11 o'clock at my parents' house, I put some panels on that solar pergola. I made some videos of that if y'all want to go check it out on my channel. But as you can see, some of these panels are pulling 163, 141, 158 watts on the same string as another one pulling in 208. So that's what, 30 or 40% different. So I'm gaining 30 to 40% better on a few of the panels, like what, 3 or 4 of them. One of them, I got to go check it out. I've got a problem with it. It's not communicating, and I've just never went and fixed it. So I guess I need to go take that apart to B8. But you can see the other ones are pulling in over 200, and the ones that's in the shades only pulling 100 and something. So it does that, maybe for like a couple hours in the morning, and I mean, you can definitely gain some power depending on the size of your panels. And I did it just because I saw shading on my parents' roof on that pergola whenever I was installing it. So I went on ahead and put it on. There's different parts of the day, like that the things will just be just a little bit different. And I want to pull in as much as possible. And let me see if there's any other spot here. And even on these over here, these are different size panels on my alpha, I guess. The A side of the string, I got different size panels. So you can see pulling in 167 and 209 at 10 o'clock in the morning. So, a little bit of a difference. So it definitely works, especially the more panels you have. It's really going to make a big difference. And if you don't have a lot of power and you don't have a lot of room, I guess, hey, even for a few panels, it's going to make a difference because at least you can pull in just that little bit more. So I think they work for my parents. So I would definitely advise people to try them out if they have a weird shading situation where they can't get rid of the trees, or like my parents' house, part of it's going to be their roof line. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the thing that I don't understand is, that was my understanding as to why the optimizers are so beneficial. But then in talking, I think it was when we had Dexter on, it almost sounded as if, well, the panels kind of do that anyway. So that's where I'm still confused. It's like, I don't really understand how beneficial.
What they do is they try to bypass the spots that are shaded, I think with the diodes or something like that.
Right.
But I still think it's only going to pull in as much as the lowest panel. All the panels are still going to be at the lowest, but each panel is trying to individually, I think, bypass as much as possible to get as much as possible is what I think that means.
I think we need some
Not that I'm an expert, but you see, like right now, I mean, it's not up on the screen anymore, but I pulled up a different day and it's pulling in 133 watts on these panels when it's shaded, and 144, and then the other ones are pulling in 190. And I think what he's saying, without the optimizers, whatever it is, one that's pulling in the least, they're all going to pull in that least amount, but it's trying to pull in as much as possible with those diodes, I think, that's kind of bypassing the shaded spots. If I might be wrong, you guys in the chat, let me know if I'm wrong about that. But that's my understanding, at least, is doing the best it can as an individual panel, but they're all going to be combined at that highest of the lowest panel.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Because we've all, you're always looking at, even when you put stuff in series, if you put different sizes in series, you're going to only ever utilize the lowest. All the panels will only use the lowest, or the how do you say that? The lowest value of the highest value of the lowest panel, or something.
Yeah, the lowest value of whatever panel is going to be the highest that any of them can pull in.
Yeah.
Without the optimizers.
Yeah. So, yeah, my understanding is, these are supposed to, again, I haven't messed with them, but in theory, they're supposed to help not completely bypass a panel that's shaded, so you can still pull in a little bit while still allowing the other panels to pull in as much as they're capable of.
That's
at that
hugely
time.
beneficial then at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes a massive massive difference.
And
I mean-
and I've definitely seen it during cloudy days where you get a cloud rolling over, and as it's rolling, one will be pulling 300 or 200 and something, and then the other ones will be pulling 50. I mean, that's a huge difference, especially if it's doing that all day long, on and off, on and off, on and off. I mean, hey, that's a few seconds or minutes at a time that you're gaining more power, and you're just getting as much as you can. So
Yeah. Well, and you saw the picture of my coop. I've got kind of that same problem on both sides. The coop is facing kind of like an east-west scenario direction, and a lot of the trees, people talk about, oh yeah, chainsaw. I saw somebody say, just grab a stick of dynamite. That'll take care of the trees. Or the beaver, I could throw the beaver in my neighbor's backyard and see what it does, because all the trees are over there. But it's not
Problematic when
something
they find these leashed to that specific tree, though.
yeah, that metal stake in the ground where they
Gives
can
you
only
away.
go so far. But it's not something that I can do to mitigate that shading problem. I can't top the trees. I can't drop the trees. I can't move the coop. But I mean, it just seemed like a perfect spot to put some solar panels. So I'm hoping that putting some of these on, and again, and I think Logan said it great. If you have shading and you can't fix it, then they work. But otherwise, don't spend the money on the optimizers if you're not dealing with shading problems, because they aren't cheap. They're what, $50, 40, $50 per optimizer?
it's been a long time. I can't remember.
I
Yeah,
bought a
probably.
kit. So, I mean, mine had 20 in the kit, I think. So I don't remember what the actual breakdown was. But if you don't need them, don't spend the extra money. I saw some other comments saying that it does add additional complexity and points of failure. I mean, Rodney showed his array that, B8. We don't know if that's not working. We don't know if it's not producing at all. Is it an array problem? Is it just a module problem? I mean, thankfully, it's not killing the entire string.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a
Normally it
benefit.
would if it's really a problem. It might just be a communication problem with that one. I don't know. I'd have to take it all apart. I don't
Yeah.
have time.
And one thing that I'll be interested to see when I get these ones on, I know that the Dash F models that they have, which is just for rapid shutdown, they're noisy.
Really?
They put out like this high pitch whine when the sun's hitting those panels. I don't understand it. And I think even right here, somebody was commenting on it, the coil whine, because that's kind of what it sounds like. Now, if it's on a roof, you're not going to hear it. The only reason I hear them is because they're on my ground array that I walk by every day. If my chickens and ducks start going cross-eyed, it's, I mean, not much I can do about that. Just don't tell my wife. I'm trying to go through and see if you guys had some comments. So yeah, here's one. No optimizers for single reason, more cost and more components to break down. And he says he understands the shading problem. Retro Z Machine says that he doesn't have optimizers. My Solar Addiction. This is a channel where he actually is very lucky, because I think his wife told him to build another array, which just kind of blew my mind. But then his neighbors started cutting down the trees that were blocking that array. So and I think he's going to be doing a video on it. And, sorry if I'm kind of sharing things ahead of time, Dave, but it's something that we could always only hope for, is having our neighbors just of themselves cutting stuff down that's blocking our arrays. Rhinox Energy, no optimizers for me. Jim says he doesn't optimize. He's too poor right now. Which, yeah, they're not cheap. Roy says that he thinks the optimizers help with snow. Well, if that's the case, that's going to be awesome, especially for me. I'll have to let you know how that works, as long as I actually get them installed before the snow flies. Let's see here. Dave said, personal experience, he gained 12.8% increase in peak power from one array with installing optimizers.
Yeah, maybe worth the $40 a piece.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if space is an issue, because that $40 is either going to go to racking for another, array, or it's going to,
or it's going to come from the grid.
Yeah.
Or it's coming from the
power
grid.
bill.
Yeah, and your electric bill, because you're not able to offset. You're not able to get that solar to store battery power, and you're just going to be pulling it from the grid. Let's see here. Clay says he's got them, but he needed them more for code compliance than for dealing with shade. And that makes sense if you need that rapid shutdown. And what'll be interesting for me, with these optimizers versus the -F models that they have, which is the rapid shutdown only. The F models utilize some kind of a core that you run your negative PV lines through, and it induces a signal over those PV lines. And if that signal goes away, then your panels all basically turn off. But with this model, the TAP and the CCA, basically they monitor the 120 volt signal coming off of your inverter. So if the 120 goes away, then it sends a wireless signal basically telling everything shut down. So it should be interesting to see. Opal 1, I have 26 panels with Tigo optimizers on them. All of them, overall performance, I noticed about 120 watt difference with and without them, because I have shading partially through the morning half of my day. My shading comes probably around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I start getting a lot of that shading, which is really bad because, the sun's still pretty high in the sky. So I'm hoping that I can at least eke out a little bit. I tried out of that picture. Let me see if I can switch back. Nope, not that one. So here we go. So I said that I've got 12 panels per side. I actually have them in a 6S 2P. So the two vertical rows on the left are in one string, and then the two on the right are in another string that are then
Thanks, Joe.
just throws me off. Joe's betting $20 that I get the optimizers in before the SPDs. And it's funny because they're both sitting right next to me.
Same box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
some little VHS tapes in there too.
So I did try doing two separate arrays that are then paralleled together to try to combat the shading a little bit. It might help a little, but not enough. So that was really why I ended up just biting the bullet and trying to go for these optimizers.
Yeah. And so I just looked it up. They actually have the stats on Tigo once I learned how to use the app over here a little bit. It looks like it's about 5% my parents have reclaimed the difference that they would have lost if they didn't have the optimizers. So they don't have a ton of shading. It's just their house for that very short portion of the day. But I guarantee it's probably already paid for itself at least. So, I mean, if you have a lot more shading than they do, I think it's worth it. Like, who was that said 12% for them? Like, I mean, that could be significant.
I think that was Dave.
You know, depending on how many panels you have. So
yeah. Let's see, Retro Z machine. His array is only 66 volts. Lots of 2-time strings in parallel. Optimizers are not optimal in that situation. They're better for longer strings. Let's see, Jur says 43 Tigo optimizers that produce about 15% more power for his entire system. I mean, 15%, that's pretty significant.
Yep.
Let's see here. I don't know if this was sarcasm or not. I want to see how the coop turns out. You never know.
So I got one.
You find one?
Power Ranger says well, pull up, show.
Oh, it's up.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay. It says 5% increase isn't really worth the cost of additional hardware, points of failure, and potential maintenance headaches. Yeah, but I was trying to get every ounce I could from my parents because I was trying to help them with their electric bill. That was the whole point because their electric bill was ridiculous. And they've been saving a couple $100 basically a month since I put that system in. So even though it was only 5%, I didn't know how much it would be. So to me, it was worth it. But, you know, I understand 5% might not be worth it for a lot of people because it is other things that could break. But it is potential that that one solar panel is messed up and my system has been producing without it in a string where it wouldn't without the optimizers. So it is potentially like a messed up panel, which I'm gonna have to check it. Now I'm gonna have to check it so we can see. So I guess I have to figure that whole thing out and see if it's the Tigo or if it's the panel. But it could be the panel, and you could have made a lot of power that you missed out on if you didn't have it.
But it could be messing up your entire string if it was the panel.
Exactly.
Engineers love change. Alternate to optimizers connecting your shaded panels in a parallel design. I have some this way and it works pretty good. That's what I was mentioning a minute ago, trying to do that 6S2P. And I mean, obviously it's better than trying to have a 12S configuration because a 12S would just kill everything. But I'm kind of hoping that I can get a little more out of what I'm currently getting. I think my biggest issue is I have to try to remember what system those are connected to so that I can see the stats beforehand and afterwards. Because I move stuff around so much, I don't really, and that's where Joe's comment of the SPD. Oh, he knows what's going on. Most of you guys don't. Yeah. I don't want to get too far into that either, because that's another separate project. Joe's trying to trip me up.
Real quick, Rodney, how many panels are on your parents' house? Just roughly ballpark.
Total.
And with the SPDs.
Hold on a minute. Hold on.
I'm trying to think back.
I'm trying to remember now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 18, 20, 24.
Because you've got more than just this, right, Rodney?
Yeah, I got more panels than just this. Some of them are on the bottom row, so they're not covered by shades. So I didn't put them on. I just put it on the ones that potentially had a little bit of shading during different parts of the day.
Okay, well, that complicates the math. What I was going to do is get some of these engineers or math guys in the comments to go, okay, so if we've got 24 panels and it costs, you know, whatever it is, like $50 a SPD or optimizer, and then we've got You said they're saving $200 a month or something like that. Like, how? Just work out the ROI for us. Figure out how many months you have to go, to end up having that 15%, or rather, in that case, 5% of that monthly
I
bill
really
pay for
misspoke.
itself.
It's 6.36% that was reclaimed from the optimizers. So
Okay.
All right. I know some of you
I said
guys.
5, but I was just guesstimating a little bit there, I guess.
Yeah. Somebody work it out for us.
What'll be really interesting for me is to see. I know that in my area from November to March 1st, the sun is, for most of the part, is hidden behind the trees. So will these optimizers be able to help with that and allow the panels to pull in a lot more than they would be right now without having direct sunlight? Or is this only going to really affect me with the direct sunlight aspect? I don't know. The reflective sunlight as well from the sunlight hitting the snow. I want to see how that's going to actually play out. And is it going to, be worth the investment, or is it just going to be a buzzing, annoying addition to the coop? Time will tell. Gen X Solar says that when he looks on the used market, he rarely sees any of the TS4 optimizers, but there's always a ton of TS4-A-F, which are just the rapid shutdown ones, the ones that I've actually put on my ground mounts. Can you use those -AFs as optimizers and not use the rapid shutdown feature? No, those are only rapid shutdown modules. They have no optimization ability in there at all, which actually brings up an interesting thought. I have one of those -F models sitting on a shelf that I just never installed. Didn't need it. Anybody want to see what's inside one? Because those things are always, sealed shut.
Mm-hmm.
Would anybody be interested if I made a video of cutting one of those open to see what was inside?
Yeah, do a teardown.
Put
Let's see
it in the comments and we'll see. Let's see here. John Montgomery, what do you think about the new N-Type 18BB panels? I've had very good gain due to shading. I haven't messed with them. I've seen clips of them, but I haven't messed with them before. I think I saw somebody was asking about the whine, the noise. Let's see here. Yeah, Retro Z Machine was asking, can you hear the whine from the ground? Mine are all ground mount panels, so I'm walking by them anyways. If it's on your roof, you shouldn't. Let's see here. I see a lot of people talking about neighbors helping neighbors, offer them some free power if they let you cut their trees down. John says that his quote from Signature Solar was approximately $2,500 for all 36 panels. So I'm assuming that's optimizers on all 36 panels. For that number of panels, do you really need optimizers on all of them? Would be my question. Because that's a nice chunk of change. If they never see shading, why put them on? Put the if you need the rapid shutdown, put the fire arrestor modules on those ones. But yeah, save some money. Rapid shutdown is an answer to a problem which doesn't really exist. It was the brainchild of the microinverter industry to knock out the string inverter manufacturers. Yeah, I can see that because, the microinverters were the ones that created the need for the rapid shutdown so that it's not backfeeding the grid. It could still be beneficial, especially from installing panels on your roof, if you do end up having some kind of a fire at the house, needing some way to shut down, potential for 3, 4, 500 volts coming straight from your roof into your house that a fireman may or may not know about. I mean, the only reason that I put the dash F modules on my ground mounts was just to make an easy shutdown for me. And I found them on the used market, like somebody else was mentioning earlier.
Maybe that's why they hum.
Because they're used. Maybe. Rodney, at your folks' house, when you're underneath the panels, do you hear anything coming from those ones?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm kind of hoping that these ones are the same way then. Donnie's solution for shade has always been to clear more land, cut trees down, and add another array. If I had it, I'd do it. Definitely would.
See, I got 10 acres of trees, and I don't want to cut any more down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave said that part 1 of his east-facing array is published. Part 2 should drop tomorrow night, followed by part 3, the production evaluation. And that 12.8 was the total array.
Nice.
So very cool. Yeah, his channel, My Solar Addiction. Jump on over there and take a look, because that's pretty interesting to see some of those numbers. Mark says, no optimizers. Joe is coming back to his what comes first, optimizers or SPDs. Let's see here. You guys see anything else?
Well, I wanted to just... Oh, you got one coming up here.
Yeah, here's one right here. On a string of 9 panels, can I run 4 panels on the string on optimizers and the other panel in normal series? Yes, you can. So if you've got just those 4, say you've got, like Rodney's parents, part of the house is covering some of the panels, or Eric's situation, trees shading part of the panels, but 5 of them are never going to see that shade, then yeah, only put them on the 4. Save yourself some money.
Yeah, what I was going to say is we're bound to have some new people on tonight, just due to the fact that we have increased our subscriber count by 10% or whatever since last week alone. So I wanted to thank everybody who's here that's new, and of course the longtime listeners. Thanks for always being here and jumping in, and yeah, if you are watching live, get in on the conversation. I'm just watching all these conversations go through off to the side. We're here as a great community. We like to just hang out, and this is just kind of, it's like the I don't want to say it's like a modern pub, but I mean it's just kind of hanging out, right? So
cheers.
Cheers. There we go. So thanks for being here. Also, I'm sure at some point we'll jump into the sunshine report, or the solar, whatever it is we call it. I don't even remember. So you might have noticed some like 3 stars, like the star that goes by, and it has, and this is in the live show only. So if you're coming in afterwards watching the replay, sorry, it doesn't really work. Put it star, your kilowatt hour for today, not the week, not the month or year, just today. What you've produced today or yesterday, if the sun hasn't come up yet or whatever, where you are. And then where you're located. And then we will take a look. And yes, Adam.
Did you get the new piece committed?
No, I did not. I still haven't done that.
Because I just saw Retro Z Machine, and I don't think I've ever seen him show up on the roll call before. And he tagged his with AU. So, well, we now definitely know that some of the international ones are going to show up. because I don't
All
think I've
right.
seen him on there at all. So yeah, in looking at that, this is our little simplified view of it, but we've, as a group today, produced 2.3 megawatt hours of battery power, or solar power, I guess I should say. So you'll see the average 50 kilowatt hours, and then you're going to see, man, some of these larger numbers. All right, I got to just jump over here because we got some really big numbers showing up tonight. Rodney's our current leader with 163. Wow.
Nice, Rodney.
I'm sure somebody's gonna hit me with the 200 plus here. Man,
Yeah,
why
that's
do we
what I'm
look
waiting
weird? What's
for.
going on there? What
yeah,
happened?
that's what
Oh.
I was looking at. I'm like, what happened here?
Stretched us out. Oh, well. It'll be fine.
Oof, it makes
That's
it bad
back.
either way.
Yeah.
Nobody
works.
wants to see that close of us, anyways.
Just right, guys.
Average is currently 40 kilowatt hours. The median is 31. Top locations in the top right-hand corner. We've got 4 from Michigan, 4 from Texas, and 3 from Wisconsin. And we've got a pretty good spread across all of our groups, including 5 in the 100 to 200 category tonight.
That's impressive.
That, I don't think we've ever had that many in that group before. I think the most that we've ever seen was around 250 kilowatt hours of production from a fella out in Germany.
And we do
And
have
then
8 in the 75 to 100. That's quite a bit.
That's awesome. Yeah. Seems like y'all had a great day. My production was kind of poopy. I didn't put it in the system. I think I actually had to kill everything, but I only had 31 kilowatt hours in Michigan. It was just kind of a nasty day today.
I had about 3 hours that was in the middle of the day that was not great. So, I mean, I can't complain. I got 163, but still.
And for those of you still wondering, yes, Eric is working on an updated version. I believe we've talked about
Keep getting distracted.
We've talked about having weekly production instead of just daily. Lots of little improvements, but unfortunately, it has to go through a review process once it gets done. So, plus it's always hard because you're always wanting to add all these extra things to it. You're like, ooh, kid in a candy store. Ooh, that's cool. We could do that. But yeah, 2.4 megawatt hours. I think our largest was 4 megawatt hours. Did we actually ever hit
Darn
4?
close to it. I can't remember.
It seems like we hit 4, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Like Solar Garage, there we go. There's 124 kilowatt hours right there. 10 kilowatt hours. So awesome. Let's see here. The D-blind one. I think it makes sense for code compliance. However, solar tracking mounts have the same. Somebody's playing.
What happened?
What?
I didn't touch
playing.
I didn't touch anything.
What?
Weird.
Oh goodness. If you,
The app's
That's
what's
wild.
wrong with it.
we have had this software for over a year and we're still learning it, guys.
It has a mind of its own.
Sometimes it does, yeah. Let's see here. Solar tracking mounts have the same issue. You can gain 40% if you move to a solar tracking mount, but it could double or quadruple your costs. I've seen those mounts, but I just couldn't find myself to actually spend the money for one of those. And they don't seem like they can actually hold the larger panels. I mean, like a couple hundred watters maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They're
I've seen
small.
people modify to try and make them larger, to take, another 400 watts of solar. But yeah, they seem pretty small. Making assumptions, panel size, electric costs, etc. saves about 50 cents per day for Rodney's parents.
We'll take it. I know. I mean, the way I look at it is, you know, it might not be the best use of the thing, but I wanted to try them out. I saw my parents had some shading, so to me, I think it's worth it. But they're probably going to keep them for a long time, so eventually they'll make their money back. I don't know about 50 cent a day thing. I haven't calculated it, but you might be right. I don't know.
Yeah, a few other comments here. It really does matter if the location has shading. 401k solar. It's definitely a customized choice, and it is. You don't. It's not a required piece at all. If you're just dealing with shading, I mean, you can bite the bullet and just deal with it. I mean, that's what I've been doing for the past several years. You look at the solar panels, you see that shade start to come across, and you shed a tear every
Yeah.
time because you know
And,
that you've got that sun that you're missing out on.
and the longer in the day that some of your panels are blocked, the more efficient the optimizers are going to be for your situation. Like my parents, it's not long that those panels are covered, so that's why the recovery is not the greatest percentage or whatever. But if you got some of your panels in a string covered all day, like in the morning, and the tree, the shades moving on all your panels all day, it's gonna probably work wonders for you. Because you'll go from having what 20 or 50 watts max all day long because something in your string is going to be shaded to some of them having 300 or 400 watts at a time. So
Yep.
definitely depends on the situation.
This is definitely a good comment. So, from their research, more panels was always going to win on a cost per performance. And that's true. If you've got the space where you can just add some more panels because you're going to get more power out of an additional panel than you probably are out of dealing with a little bit of shading from the optimizer. But it really comes down to when you don't have any more space for any more stuff. That's when eking out that last little bit really starts to make sense.
Yep.
I asked about cutting into that Tigo, and we've got a handful of people. Apparently, they like surgery and teardowns. Joe says, get a long video like Eric.
So I put out a couple of 3-minute videos this week. They're gonna get longer, but I had to introduce the series and drag it out a little bit. So yeah,
He's trying to be the opposite of Adam.
That's right. Well, I mean, if you think about it, his 12,000 XP install was an hour.
it was over an hour. It was like an hour and 8 minutes or something. So
he's appeasing
yeah.
the masses.
Yeah, you can't make
little
everyone
pieces.
happy.
Shoot, I'm working on one right now, and I had 160 gigs worth of footage. I'm not done yet, and I have to try and get it to, 45 minutes is probably as short as it's ever going to get, folks. Just put me on 2x speed, chipmunk mode. Or
Dude,
grab
I go
your
4x anytime I can.
grab your popcorn
getting through
and
it.
just enjoy the movie. 3D mode. When are they going to get that 3D for YouTube? Let's see here. Trying to see if I've missed anything else. So Jim said that he thought the purpose of rapid shutdown was to kill the array if the panels caught fire. And it's not. It's designed to kill power at the panel, because I believe it's like 12 inches away from the panel. After you trigger the rapid shutdown, it's supposed to drop down to 3 volts or less. And it's supposed to be a safety measure to prevent power from coming into the house or into the inverter so that you don't have any excess power in the event of house fire, firemen having to come into your house for whatever reason, killing all that stuff. So they know that They can grab that hose, spray the house, try to put the fire out without 4, 5, 600 volts DC still coming into the house. Don't cut your own trees, just the neighbors. Let's see here. So Dave says, Rodney, I noticed that the reclaimed energy on the Tigo app didn't match the numbers that he got from Solar Assistant. And doing the math, Tigo was more than double. Say, I don't think you have a Solar Assistant set up at your folks' house, though, do you?
No. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Rickett says he got 16 used solar panels with optimizers. Ended up not using the optimizers because the array isn't shaded at all. Why add the extra connections that could go bad? And yeah, if you don't need them, don't add them in. $401k solar. This has become my favorite solar channel, and that's saying a lot. Oh, we appreciate
Damn.
that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
We have a good time.
Gonna hang
Now
out.
we just need to do an in-person meetup
Yeah.
Yeah.
in Vegas in November.
We have to see who lives near there. Or who just wants to go out there, I guess.
Ricketts, I don't know if you saw this, but Blaine wants to know if you're selling your optimizers. So yeah, tonight was really super laid back version. Sometimes we have people coming on that we do Q&As with. Sometimes we'll have guest speakers where we ask them all the questions similar to last week. I know I saw one comment on last week's video that we all need to go to school and learn how to interview people. And I had to laugh. I'm like, this is a live stream. It's an impromptu live stream. We don't care. It's a conversation. It's not supposed to be an interview.
Yeah.
We're DIY, just random guys off the side of the internet. There it is.
Hey,
That's
and
what it is.
it's funny.
I mean,
Some people watch a lot of podcasts that are not live, and they think that's how it goes. No, those people are editing those videos. That's not how it goes. They edit those. Unless you're watching it live, that's not what probably really happened. So
well, and we had all of like 45 minutes after confirmation to come up with questions for him and stuff. So
that was super last minute.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So if I want to put 4 optimizers on the east end of my series string of 9 550 bifacial ground mounted panels, where do I start with sizing and brand? I mean, as far as I know, there's only a handful of brands out there that do optimizers.
yeah.
And that's Tigo. You've got Solar Edge, and somebody's going to have to remind me of what that third one is. I know AP Smart does the they're the little module inside a lot of the, I think the EG4 inverters, even the Midnight inverters behind me.
Well, it looks like Tigo does some for the 725 watt panels up to 725 watts, and then some up to 800. So pretty much any size panel you have, it seems like they have something to cover it. I don't know anything about the other brands, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, these modules that I have, I think these are for up to 750 watt panels. Let's see here. 1500 volt maximum, 725 watts. So if you've got panels that big, or bigger, you might not need optimizers anyways for that large of a panel. Grace wants to know where to get wire online. Are we talking PV wire? Are we talking DC, AC, battery
Yeah,
wire?
so I asked her, and she replied 10 AWG and 4-aught AWG for batteries.
Okay.
Going to be about 250 feet from arrays to inverters. So that 10 gauge, is that your PV cable? I'm guessing.
I'm guessing, yeah. And I mean, if you're not buying actual PV cable, if you're just going to put it in conduit with THHN, it's going to be a whole lot cheaper.
Yeah. So I just started purchasing my wires from wireandcableyourway.com. And I'm looking right now. I haven't purchased 4-aught, welding cable in a really long time. But they've got it at $8.39 a foot, which sounds outrageous, but for what it is, that's probably a pretty good deal. That was absolutely the best deal I could get on the, I think it's the number 3 that I put in this system. I can't remember what it's 3 or 4.
And you can always look at a local supply house for electrical supplies. So just kind of search that. And if you're willing to travel 30 or 45 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on where you live, if you're already going that way for something else, you might be able to order it and go pick the stuff up. Because there's some wire I've got cheaper online and some wire I've got it locally cheaper. So, other than Lowe's and Home Depot and stuff, because they're usually pretty expensive.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of times that I've bought 4-aught battery cable on Amazon. I can't remember the name that I had. Windy Nation, I think, was some of it that I used. There was another one that I used that I really seemed to like, and it was super flexible. The AC wire, I've found. I got a sticker over here. AC DC wire and supply on eBay.
Okay.
They can make bundles for basically whatever you need. If you want multiple colors, multiple lengths, multiple sizes, if you message them, they'll basically make it for you and send you the quote. And it usually shows up for me within a day or two.
Nice.
Reasonable price. So
I've also used photovoltaicable.com for what it's worth.
that was the one that I remember you talking about in the past.
Enphase.
Yeah, it was Enphase. They do micro inverters. I don't remember if they do optimizers or not, but I do know that they do the micro inverters. Last question, because I see that we are already over time. Boy, I just can't talk.
Go to school.
I ended up. It's been a long day, and I had multiple long hours of conference calls, and so I'm kind of talked out. And lucky me, I'm hosting tonight. Did Anker send me the E10 Power Dock for review? Do I plan to put a video on it? There's nothing on the web in the DIY space. Yes, yes, and yes. It's in a box that I have taken a peek in, but I haven't actually gotten a chance to do anything else with it. But I do plan on trying to set up a system just using that, hopefully in the near future. I need to stop taking on all these other projects, which will allow me to actually get to that one. But, Joe keeps harping on this whole SPD thing. Now I've got some optimizers, so I don't know when I'm going to get to the power dock. But, yeah, I do have it, and it will be coming. So, folks, I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight, because you guys really do make this really what it is. It is more than just a weekly live stream. It's a community. I mean, we're all sharing information. Tonight, I was asking you guys about your experiences with things that I just don't have any experience with. So I want to thank you for sharing your tips, your thoughts with me. Thank Rodney and Eric for joining me and for coming along, hanging out. We have passed, how long have we been doing this now?
No idea.
Time.
Long time.
I
Yeah,
guess it's
it all,
coming up on 2 years, probably.
2 years.
Like
Yeah. Is that
actually
in
streaming together.
November or something like that? 2 years,
Mhm.
maybe. Crazy. So I'm going to hand it over to Eric, let him close out how he sees fit, and then hand it to Rodney, and then we will wrap it up.
Cool. Well, Adam, thanks for pushing the buttons, as we say, and just kind of driving the show tonight. And yeah, everybody who's been here, I've already said thanks for coming, but I've got another couple of things coming out. I'm really trying to edit some videos, get them down. Definitely, I've got a couple of weeks out of my solar porch series. That thing is not. I got a lot of work to do, but a lot of stuff already shot and edited and uploaded and scheduled out. So we will absolutely be seeing more stuff. It's already scheduled, so don't worry about that, and longer videos on top of it. But that's pretty much it for here. This, oh my goodness, I go to school, Eric. Learn to speak.
It's spreading.
Man. Well, okay. Anyway, if you want to hear me fumble over words, go check me out at easttexashomestead.com or Home Energy Independence. Either one. Rodney, to you.
Of course, thanks, Adam, for hosting. I'm glad it wasn't me because I'm super tired. And I'm about to starve. I'm ready to, man, I got to go cook some food.
Rodney
man. I'm about
came
to
on an
starve.
hour and a half ago, said he was hungry.
Yeah, as soon as I got home from work, I had to come in here and do the stream. And hey, sometimes we're working a 12-hour shift and you had to get up early just to make it there. By the time you get home, you are starving. So hopefully I can get some videos out soon. It's just been super busy around the house. And I do have some stuff behind me to test out, and we'll see how that goes. But of course, thanks Adam for pushing the buttons. Thanks Eric for being here as well, and of course, thank you guys for being here. You're what makes the stream what it is, so we definitely appreciate it.
Yep, Rodney, I smelled nachos already. I got finally got some food waiting for me. My wife teases me with that stuff sometimes, though. It's her way of getting me off the stream faster. Just make that food and get that smell wafting through. So yeah, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. We'll be back again next week, 8 p.m. Eastern time for another DIY Unplugged Solar Live. Take it easy.